crossover, kicks it out. Johnson for three, puts it in. James drives, offensive foul. He's fouled out of the game. First time since 2008. Bosh looking. James gets free, knocked away by Livingston. Back for James. And the Nets have swept the season series.
The Nets won all 4 regular season meetings with the Heat, and they did it with defense, dropping Miami's scoring by 8.3 PPG compared to the rest of the league, and they seriously limited the Heat's fast break points and second chance points. And it's Rick Kamla, Rick Fox, and Stu Jackson here in Atlanta. And Stu, kindly break down how the Nets were able to slow down the Miami Heat. I didn't think it was possible.
Yeah, they've done a good job, and certainly the way the Brooklyn Nets are structured, they're structured to play the Miami Heat. They've got big wing players that are able to switch the pick and roll of the Miami Heat. They can put bigger players on LeBron. They close the gaps, but most of all, they do a great job of stopping them in transition. And you can see here, in any transition defense, when you get your point guard, in this case Darren Williams, in the corner shooting a jump shot, your small forward and your shooting guard have responsibility to get back and stop the break. Here you see Joe Johnson and Paul Pierce doing exactly that with 2 other players coming back to the paint. Same issue here, right? Here we have the Nets taking the point guard, Sean Livingston, goes to the rim, 2 and 3 have to get back. They do a good job of getting back into the paint once again, making LeBron, forcing him into a very difficult shot. They end up with a foul, but you can see their focus here. And here's a real good example. All 10 players moving back in transition. And now you have Pierce and Joe Johnson making LeBron alter his path. He has to pass the ball off, which gives all the other 3 players time to get back in transition and stop the transition basket with the key block there to win the game there by Plumlee.
Running them off the three-point line, getting back and walling off and actually presenting a defensive front. Maybe giving up those offensive board opportunities for themselves to prevent that. Just 2 keys that I think have paid dividends to them.
So LeBron and Dwayne Wade, obviously incredible, but Joe Johnson and Paul Pierce pretty good on those wings as well. One more segment here on Game Time. And, Rick, isn't there an easier way to get to American Airlines Arena?
They may be coming from the Bahamas. Going to the game.
Beautiful shot of Biscayne Bay. It is Game 1. Nets and Heat coming up on TNT. It is time for Paul Pierce and the Nets against the Miami Heat. Coming up at 7 on TNT. Paul Pierce averaged 21.3 against Miami in the regular season. And there is Kevin Garnett. He's ready to start some trouble on the floor tonight. Chris Bosh averaged 15.8 PPG against the Brooklyn Nets during the regular season. Can't wait for this one. Thanks to sweeping the Bobcats, the Heat had 5 days of rest before their series with the Nets, and here's how the Heat have fared with rest in the Big Three era, only losing a Game 1 following 7 days of rest in the 2013 conference semifinals against Nate Robinson and the Bulls. You remember little Nate went off in that game and almost single-handedly beat the Miami Heat, who went on to win the next 4 games, by the way. And now, via Cisco telepresence from Miami, we welcome Ira Winderman of the South Florida Sun-Sentinel. And Ira, how are the Heat feeling after that long layoff, specifically LeBron James and Dwayne Wade? Are they 100% or near 100%?
Well, Rich, it's actually very interesting. Dwayne Wade said he's fine. He's over the hamstring. But just before this game, a matter of minutes ago, LeBron James said he is not over the thigh bruise. If you remember, against the Bobcats, Game 4, he took a knee to the thigh from Bismack Biyombo. He said he's not 100%, but good enough. And guys, you know about thigh bruises. They don't go away in a day or even a week or so. So I think we've got to keep an eye on LeBron all of a sudden. Maybe 8 days off wasn't enough.
Oh, come on. LeBron's indestructible. He'll be fine. Ira, just before we came on, your phone was blowing up. A lineup change for the Miami Heat. Please tell the world what's up.
Yes, NBATV exclusive, or the Heat just announced. Shane Battier, who played a grand total of 2+ minutes in the first round, has been put in the starting lineup by Eric Spoelstra. Udonis Haslem is out. Michael Beasley, who was not active at all in the first round, he's on the active roster tonight. Greg Oden, the supposed savior of the playoffs, he's inactive. So, you know, it's interesting. The Heat's the favorite in the series. But before even Game 1, we see the Heat are making those adjustments. So I think the Nets' brand of small ball and the Nets' depth of their roster on the perimeter already has Eric Spoelstra making manipulations. Kind of fascinating.
Ira, this is Stu Jackson. Let's talk about motivation. Much has been made about the fact that the Nets beat the Heat 4 times this season. What's your sense there in the arena and from being around the Heat as to how motivated they are to change that trend?
You know, Stu, I'll give you the perfect example, and it doesn't have anything to do with the Nets. Eric Spoelstra this morning said, when we see Kevin Garnett, when we see Paul Pierce, we see green. The rivalries that these guys had, Pierce and Garnett against LeBron James and the Celtics against the Heat, that's what it really is. I mean, the Heat really tonight is playing the black and white and green when it comes to those two. Paul Pierce has played more career playoff games against LeBron James than he has against any single individual team. That's where the rivalry is at the start of this series.
Ira, Rick Fox. 5 days of rest, nice to have, to rejuvenate, recharge. But is rigor mortis set in with this team?
You know, they're not that old. And matter of fact, you can make an argument the Nets are even older. So, you know, and
there
the one
go.
thing, I mean, honestly, as you know, Rick, as well as anyone, the oldest Heat player, Ray Allen, might be the youngest Heat player when it comes to conditioning. Eric Spoelstra did a nice mix of working them hard, working on strategy. I don't think the layoff is a factor at all. I think the toughest thing is Brooklyn's a very unique team with the way they play. So I think for the Heat, they could have used maybe another day or two to work on this new lineup with Shane Battier and sort of reconfigure a little bit. It's going to be interesting at the start. Again, Shane Battier has not played with these guys in 2+ weeks. A fascinating start to a series.
Hey, Ira, where was Ray Allen against the Bobcats? He averaged 3.3 points, shot 27% on threes. Is something going on physically? Was it just not his series based on the matchups? What's going on with Ray Allen?
I think you can go back more than just 2 weeks in that series to probably the last 6 weeks of the season. Ray Allen just has not been Ray Allen to this point. And when you look at it, defensively, you know he's going to struggle in some of these matchups, but he hasn't been making a shot. The feeling with Eric Spoelstra is his first 3 subs off the bench are going to remain Norris Cole, Birdman, Chris Anderson, and Ray, simply because he has the feeling that this is Ray Allen's time of the year. And you know what? In this matchup, you have to space the floor against the Nets. Ray has to hit shots. It's as simple as he has to hit shots.
Ira, we really appreciate the time. Enjoy the game tonight from Miami. We'll talk to you down the line.
Hey, as soon as lineup changes come, NBA TV first. Thank you, guys.
There you go. Thank you, Ira Winderman of the South Florida Sun-Sentinel. And the Big Three got it done against the Bobcats. 62 points per game combined. That was nearly 61% of the team's offense. And as you can see, they were very efficient as well from the field and from the three-point line. Is the 4-0 regular season sweep overrated? Because 3 of the matchups were 1-point games, and the other victory for the Nets was a double overtime win. So is that overrated, Stu?
It is overrated, but the close games are not. There has to be some tangible reasons why Brooklyn has been able to play the Miami Heat so well. And a lot of it has to do with the Brooklyn Nets perimeter players. They're able to do what most teams can against Miami. They can switch pick and rolls and close the gaps, you know, of LeBron and penetrators like Norris Cole and Chalmers, right? So they do that extremely well. They also, as a team, the Brooklyn Nets defend the 3 better than anyone left in the playoffs right now against the Miami Heat, who relies a lot on the 3-point shot. So you look at those reasons, coupled with the fact that they're good in transition defensively, and they don't allow LeBron to run north and south, or downhill as we now call it. And there are some tangible reasons why this team has had some success.
Yeah, and I would think that they have the full attention of the Miami Heat in terms of knowing that you're not going to get a complacent Heat team showing up tonight. Now, it's real, though. When you beat a team in a possession, 1 or 2 possessions down the stretch of a game, you've had that success. And I think playoff basketball will attest to the attention to those last few possessions. You have to be able to deliver, and they have something to look back on when it comes to the Heat and say, the Heat, the Nets, that is, and they can say, we've had success. We can duplicate that.
This is a series just replete with future Hall of Famers. Can't wait.